You gonna keep it?
Yeah, sure. I just thought, I don't want to. I don't want you to be like nervous or anything like that. I love the real Doug, the guy I know.
The thing is that are these people who go on? Are they real? I mean, they don't know where I live or anything.
No.
Oh, you did say 605 Park Avenue.
Okay, I'll make sure I'll bleep that out. We'll make sure that they definitely don't know. But I think what's more important here is that people get down to like the real character of who you are. Like the Doug I know, I love because you're so funny. And you're a New Yorker. How old are you?
75.
You're 75. So you're 10 years older than Rob?
Approximately.
Or
This is being recorded now? Okay, very good. All right. Yeah, no, I'm a few years older than him. Yes.
You're a few, he's funny because he lies about his age, right? Who knows?
I don't want to speak for him.
I know he does. I remember when I met him. But so you and Rob moved in '69, huh?
Mm-hmm. 1969.
I like the decor of this apartment. How many rooms?
Thanks.
How many rooms does it have?
Well, 3 bedrooms, 4 bathrooms. The living room, den, which we're in right now. The kitchen, of course. So that's it's a lot of rooms.
Mm-hmm.
You know. So,
What I love about it is that there's a bathroom in every room.
Yes.
And then of course there's the bathroom for the guests, so the guests don't have to go into the private quarters. They have their own bathroom in the living quarters,
That's right.
And I consider like that the side room off the kitchen is very private. The one that you reside in.
That's my bedroom, the small room. Yes.
I was hoping that maybe you could show us your bedroom after we're done talking.
Okay. It's not the most exciting bedroom in the world. It's a little bit cluttered, but
I like it.
It'll be okay.
It's your bedroom.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. It has a nice view.
Thank you.
I think it's funny how some people, I know that you told me that you did comedy.
Yeah, I did continue on.
No, that's
not
it.
Not
I
much
like
to talk
it.
about.
No, tell me more.
It's not. I did a one-nighter thing at the Stand Up New York on West 78th Street with a friend of mine. This was like 20 years ago.
I don't care. That's such a great thing to do. That's a great thing. I want to hear all about it.
When I was in the neighborhood for a few times, back also about 15 years ago, I did a thing at the New York Comedy Club.
What?
On East.
What?
Yeah, I did a thing there. And
when was that?
This was in the mid 2000s, like 2005, 2006, something like that.
Wasn't that a good time in New York?
Huh?
That was a good time in New York.
Yeah, I agree with you.
You do, right? Everyone came together after 9/11. It was such a great time.
This was after 9/11. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And everyone was close, and it was like, oh, we survived 9/11.
Right. No, it's not like now we're coming apart again.
Yeah,
you know?
I feel that dissension.
Right. Absolutely.
The dissension is so weird. It's very disconnected. That disconnect them.
Mm-hmm. We're going back to the way we were. I mean,
nobody cares about each other.
Right.
Run each other over with your bicycle.
What was that?
Run each other over with your bicycle.
That's one of my pet peeves. That's why I stopped you.
Really?
With the bikes and the e-bikes and then this bike and then that bike and the mopeds and the scooters, I find myself looking every 6 times whenever I cross the street. I'm always looking at, So
it's funny. It is. It's a little bit not that funny. It's also scary.
It is.
I mean, how do you think that affects like the children in the neighborhood, or do you think
it sets a bad example, I think, for children. I went to the supermarket yesterday. Since you mentioned this tell me this is the truth.
Yes, tell me.
There's a young kid. He's riding his scooter down the aisles looking at food.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
So I told him you have to do this in the supermarket. He just ignores me.
Good for you.
Yeah, I do. Speak out.
Good for you.
Very often,
I'm so glad that you do, because you have, I think, something important to say.
Yeah, I feel like I do.
You and what's his name, Colbert.
Oh yeah, I don't watch any of these late night shows. I could record them on a DVR. I don't do that either. I got so much junk I record from the cable news that I don't have to, I feel like there's more for me to watch then. I feel like I have to watch him if I record him,
I love your eyes, Doug. They're so pretty. They're like bright crystal blue.
Oh, thank you. Thanks.
Is that did you get those from your mother, I think, right?
No idea.
I think your mother.
I don't know. No idea.
When I met your mother, it was about 15 years ago.
Okay.
And I just thought she was such a striking character. What a beautiful lady.
Yeah, thank you.
Even at her age, I think she was probably about 85 or 81, around there. And I was like, oh, what? I couldn't believe how much charisma she had even at that age.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Yeah, and her outfit, and I don't know if she had one of the cigarettes that had like the long extensions, but she might as well have, okay? She might as well have a cigarette with a long extension because she was so glamorous. And I just remember her nails. Her nails were so long, right?
Yes, they were rather long and unpleasant in a way because I'm always afraid I'm going to get stuck by them. We won't talk about the cigarettes. How's that? It's not something I was proud of in the house here.
Yeah. It was part of the glamour allure, and
but
it was from a different
we're
time.
talking about later in life. We're not talking about in the 60s and 70s when they smoked like a fiend in here, and nobody noticed anything,
Yeah, it was like there's something Parisian about that, but
yeah.
I hear what you're saying, and I can respect that, Doug, so I won't talk about that.
Okay.
But I will talk about her eyes, and they were that piercing blue, like your eyes. Very Russian?
Russian?
Possibly. I'm trying to think of your descent.
Oh.
Very Russian.
She was Russian descent, yes.
Yes.
And my father was German descent.
Yeah, so you have the Russian eyes, and it's beautiful. It to me reminds me of like the cold. Like the cold of winter, like now, like the ice cold snow in Russia. This is how I imagine it to be, like the cold, like, like the color of like a White Fang, that child novel, like the color of the wolf's eyes, like cold, and Siberia, and you know.
Wonderful.
So I have imagination, and when it comes to your mom, I really like her character. As a matter of fact, when I met her, I figured out, no wonder I like Robert.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Because I just couldn't figure out what I liked so much about him until I met his mother.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I guess I identified with her in a way because her favorite artist was Toulouse-Lautrec, which was at the time one of my favorite artists. So for her birthday, we bought her a Toulouse-Lautrec print, and I helped him pick it out, and so on and so forth. Things like that. But I wanted to ask you, what were some of your more fond memories about your mom?
When I was growing up, I guess, good or bad?
Both. Fond.
Okay.
I would say fond or distinctive is another way to say it.
Like screaming at me, wait till your father gets home? Which is what they all said in those days.
Oh, that's
they
hilarious.
Always said that. And then going out in the car for a drive for 15 minutes and coming back. Walking out and coming back.
Oh, yes, that's what I do too, still to this day.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a good way to blow off steam.
Yeah.
Without being too aggressive.
Well, I agree.
Mm-hmm. So
I mean, my parents never fought. There was nothing physical. They had verbal things,
arguments,
of course, but there was nothing ever physical about it, My mother always tried to be the life of the party. She always tried to make everybody comfortable and at home, and she worked very hard at making people happy there at these parties she had here.
And she did an amazing job.
Bringing celebrities in the house, in the days,
Wow, what an amazing woman.
Yeah, no, she was, despite when your father gets home. That's the line I will remember, because that's, I think that was built in that era,
Wait till your father gets home.
Right, yeah.
And then this is what I remember. this is what I remember of being a mother. Wait till your father gets home and you're waiting and waiting.
Oh, yeah, okay.
That's at least, that's my scenario.
Well, I knew what that meant, of course, you know.
Yeah, like you were going to get a spanking or something.
Yeah, even though I'm trying to think. My father, I think he turned away from spankings later on.
Yeah.
It wasn't the best thing. I think he was ahead of his time.
Mm-hmm. Good
because
for him.
it's not the way you should discipline a child, you know. But look, there are lots of things that I feel that children see that adults do, which are not adult. I, for example, the Super Bowl was last week. I never watched 1 minute of a football game. I can't stand it. I don't like it. It's violent too often. The object is what? To run to the end of the field without getting tackled. And boxing, the object is to hurt the other guy so you win. I don't consider people doing these things good role models, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So a father spanking his son. Nowadays, I think you can go to prison if I'm not mistaken. I don't know about prison, but I know you can have adult
corporal punishment is definitely frowned upon.
Right, yeah.
And you can have, there's intervention programs that are in place for those types of behaviors. So
but
you have something there.
Like having an athletic game where so much of it could involve violence.
Right.
To me, is not something that I'm proud of, that the society admires, you know.
Absolutely.
Even though we
point.
knew my parents were friends with a big football player, and some of them are the nicest people in the world.
Right, right.
And some of the boxers too. Muhammad Ali was fantastic.
Yeah.
But like I say, it's a bad example. It's a bad example.
It is a bad example. It's not a far cry from dog fighting. Really, but they're humans, so it's even worse, you know.
Yeah, of course.
Because they have a brain. What's the difference?
They get their anger out or whatever it is, you know.
Yeah.
Like auto racing, I heard a lot of people go there just to see if somebody gets killed, because
oh my God.
I don't see any excitement sitting there watching a bunch of cars race. It doesn't. Not very exciting at all. But
you know what I did? I always wondered what the allure was on that.
What allure?
The allure of NASCAR and all of those. I mean, I love the idea to see cars race fast, but what you just mentioned to me is I didn't realize that people were going for that reason.
Oh, I've heard that. I don't know if it's true or not.
Yeah,
some people may just go for the fun of seeing which driver comes up ahead. It's competition.
Yeah, you know, it makes sense, Doug, because if you look at some of the videos that go viral on social media platforms like TikTok and
yeah, I know,
like all those types of things.
All this nonsense we have to deal with now.
Like, I have to say, one of the children in my son's school recently committed suicide.
Right.
And I can't say that it's because it's something that he has never seen or heard about.
Yeah.
Because of their exposure to social media per se. So yeah, I think it's very interesting and wonderful that you have such an insight when it comes to the well-being of humanity and especially children. Mm-hmm. So that's something I absolutely love and I appreciate about you, Doug. And I just wondered where you got that. How you became this way.
Well, I don't know. Probably because when I was growing up, I had issues growing up. And my parents took me to the psychiatrists and psychologists. And I think they misdiagnosed me. They always thought that I wouldn't be capable of doing a lot of things which I was capable of doing. Yes. Or capable of doing with assistance. But in those days, you didn't have programs like you do now.
Yeah.
Where they have the special needs classes and they have the reasonable accommodations. I mean, I got my job in New York State, reasonable accommodations, because I had an anxiety disorder.
Yes.
And I still do.
What was your job doing?
Oh, these are just office jobs I did.
Just office jobs?
Yeah, just office jobs.
Those are wonderful types of jobs.
I worked for the state, New York State, for almost about 27 years.
Wow, that's amazing. What did you do? Which company? Which
I worked for 3 state agencies: the New York State Insurance Fund,
Oh my goodness.
Manhattan Psychiatric Center,
Oh my goodness.
and the Department of Labor. Oh my goodness.
That's a hard one. That's a tough one. Which one was your favorite? Where was your favorite to work?
I'd have to say Department of Labor, because the people there, even though the systems at all these places were, well, New York state government.
Yeah, and there was opportunity for improvement per se, right?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Or you
Especially with
tell
the,
me
with their
in your words.
computers.
Yeah.
Computer system.
Okay.
And I'm speaking of one who's not really too comfortable with these computers. But, well, look, computers in many ways have ruined a lot of the workplace, because it takes forever to fix a mistake. It's impersonal. It's limited in what it can do. It's not. This is not like NASA, the space agency. This is not. These are just companies that put them in there. Anyway, I'm talking too much. Go ahead.
No, I love it. Please.
But no,
that's very interesting to me. So, you liked working for the Department of Labor the most?
Yeah, I would say yeah. The only thing is, I didn't get involved with the claimants like I did at the insurance fund, state insurance fund. I would take calls, and I would sometimes give advice as to how to help with them with their problems and getting compensation.
My
from their
goodness,
job.
Doug, I need your help because I'm studying to be a broker, a life insurance broker right now. That's what I've been studying for when I speak to Robert.
Well, no, this doesn't deal with life insurance.
No, but
and I wasn't
insurance...
involved in the technicalities of it.
Oh, I see.
I would just tell them what we need, what correspondence we need, faxed over.
Okay.
So that if they have the disability or something that they had to get compensation for, that we'd have it on file, that they're documented by a doctor.
Okay. And so you were not an agent, not an underwriter.
No.
Not an underwriter, but you were.
My title was Clerk 1.
Oh, nice.
But I went over a little bit because I like to help. I feel like I help people. I feel like I'm helping myself when I help people.
I know that about you.
So, but a clerk in New York State government is a little figure.
Right.
Right. Yeah. But anyway.
The most important ones, but.
Yeah, but I had good times there. I worked for the American Bible Society too for 7 years.
Where is that located?
If it's around anymore, I believe it would be in Pennsylvania.
Okay.
Because they moved out of Manhattan. It used to be at 61st and Broadway. This big, beautiful tower. Mm-hmm. And they moved. So, and I worked for Alexander's department store, if you remember that.
Oh, yes, I do.
For 1 year, exactly.
I've only heard about them, but I've heard wonderful things. They're high-end.
Yeah, well, wonderful thing. If you worked at a place like that, though, just don't use the store discount code. It would take 2 hours for them to figure out how to do it.
That's hilarious.
But, they had good merchandise there. Mm-hmm. Discount merchandise. We could use it now. We could use a department store which has discounted merchandise, and they don't have it anymore. And it was right here in the middle of a high-rent district at 58th and Lexington Avenue.
Ooh.
Where the Bloomberg building is now.
Okay.
They tore it down when the store closed, and the store closed, by the way, after I left employment. I'm not saying it had anything to do with it. I'm just throwing that out,
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
You left, it closes, done.
Of course.
It says, Douglas Leeds is leaving the building.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, you have that effect on places, I'm sure.
So that's something about my work life, yeah.
Yeah, I think that what I was getting to, or what I was asking you about, is like you have a very like altruistic background. Like you're amazing with people, amazing with I would have to say that you're a diamond. And the society that we live in, and it's just something that is so rare that I just find so unique about you, and that I treasure. And it's
right, maybe because I'm old. Thank you, because I'm old school.
Old school, you think?
Well,
there's many old school people, but they're not quite like you.
Oh, okay.
That's true.
Right. Yeah. Thanks.
But why don't you tell us a little bit about what's going on right now with your apartment? Or if you don't want to discuss that, that's okay.
Well, you could ask me specifically, what is it you want to know about what's going on?
It's so difficult to talk about that I would actually just rather reminisce about some of the better times in your life in New York City. Remember Bill Cunningham, the guy that was the photographer for...
Oh, the Times, yeah.
Yeah, I love him. Let's talk about him.
What is there to talk about?
I know.
I mean, he took pictures that were in the style section of the Times, which I was reading before when I was waiting for you to show up here.
Oh, really? I know.
Yeah.
I didn't know you were reading the style section.
Yeah, I was reading the style, business, and the opinion section. It used to be the Weekend Review. Now it's the opinion section. You know, the Times. Not the paper it used to be, but I still read it.
Oh my goodness, I love it. Oh, it's not the paper it used to be. That is for sure. And you know what? I can't say that the Times are ever going to go back to how they once were.
No.
But we can still find little gems in, if we look hard enough. Did you know that's what Bill Cunningham said?
Oh, okay.
He said, you can find beauty in anything if you look hard enough.
Right.
And I believe that. And in me and you, people like me and you, we will find that beauty every day. Like we found each other, you know, and I get to sit here with you and I get to look into your beautiful eyes and have a conversation with you. That's very special to me, you know.
Oh, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
What made you interested in Bill Cunningham, though?
Because I'm a makeup artist.
Right.
So he's a fashion photographer. And I'm not just a makeup artist. I'm an artist in general. I like to curate my environment. Like I love your mom. She curated her house, her environment, her like her menu for her parties. She curated it. She had special menus, special silverware, special decor, special hand soap. Mm-hmm. You guys had special outfits. Like I'm a curator in my own right, and I guess I recognize a passion in people like him that is akin to my own.
Have you met him?
I have never met him.
Oh, so
I've just followed
got
his
you,
whereabouts.
What got you involved in when you first knew about him? What made you into him?
Well, I would see him taking pictures, and I always thought it was very strange because he has somewhat of a small physique. And he's like older. Like he's like kind of like he has a small physique, like similar to yours even. And when I saw him, he was older. And I thought, wow, he's in this place where he's getting some really great photos of a time like the early 2000s when there were really big fashion parties. And on the street, he would pop around 57th in that area where I worked at Saks Fifth Avenue.
Oh.
And then lo and behold, a couple of years later, I think it was 2009, I was looking at Netflix and there was a documentary done on him.
Okay.
And I was like, there's that guy.
Oh, so you would see him on the street.
Yeah.
But you never spoke with him or introduced yourself.
No.
But you would see him and you would find out who he is.
He had an energy like I wanted. Okay, at the time, I was a new makeup artist in the city. And I worked at Saks and I did side projects like fashion, television, film, and runway and all of that. So I was always on the lookout everywhere I went for the photographer to work with, the next photographer that I wanted to work with, and I would walk up to them, and it was called guerrilla marketing. I would walk up to them and I would sell myself to them. I'm a makeup artist. I would walk up to like 50 Cent at a nightclub. I'm a makeup artist. I can do your makeup. You know what I mean? Here's my business card, and I would get work that way. Mm-hmm. So my feelers were always out. And when I saw him, I would always be like, that's a person that I want to talk to, but I would be in a hurry or he would be in a hurry. He had a bicycle. I would never be able to catch him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that was funny. And then I saw a documentary and it just made sense.
Oh, okay.
No wonder.
Yeah.
Because I didn't read the paper. I didn't have time back then. I was too busy paying my rent. It's funny, right?
Yeah.
The rents of New York City. Oh my gosh, that brings me to our topic.
Yeah. And no, the average rent in Manhattan, or the medium rent, is less than what I'd be paying here if I ever get my situation resolved. So anyway,
it's less than what you would be paying here.
No, it's more.
Exactly, it's
more.
It seems like substantial more.
Oh, not substantial, but it's more.
More.
Actually, if and when I get the situation resolved here, I'll be paying less rent most likely, than the average or medium Manhattan apartment, which is not nearly as big as this.
Okay. So just give us a few details about some of the things that are going on here.
Oh, okay. Well, because of circumstances out of my control, the family has suffered financially the last few years, and we.
I would have to say COVID it might have been the onset of COVID, wasn't it?
Partly, yeah. Well, I retired from my job in 2019 in June, and a few months after that, really, the pandemic began, and now it isolated me from the world because I didn't want to go out and do anything. I was afraid with all the talk there. I mean, some people spraying the food when it came in, all this stuff. It was just too much. So I became pretty much a recluse, like a lot of people.
Right.
But it's hard for me to break out of that, even though now I'm trying to break out of it. But I'm older now, and anyway, so this apartment situation, we became a string of circumstances happened which put us in a situation where we've been unable to pay the rent here. Never mind the fact that it's much cheaper, or about the same roughly, as maybe a 2-bedroom or something somewhere in Manhattan. ERAP, which is a New York State program, during the pandemic, they paid my rent for a year, and I've been applying for the one-shot deal from HRA, Human Resources Administration, and they keep on denying me, and sometimes they deny me from what I could see because they didn't have documents which I submitted, and they misread things, like telling me I don't have a pension when I do have a pension.
Yeah, it's neither here nor there with HRA, it seems.
So it's a disaster, and I'm still applying for it, and I have a hearing coming up in 2 weeks, which I'm terrified about. Not a hearing, a trial, actually.
I know this has stressed you out immensely. What are some of the things that you see in your future? Like, if you were to lose this apartment,
leave?
Yeah. Tell me.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I always go with the worst case scenario, which is not good, about living in a shelter, which to me would be catastrophic to my health.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think that would really be very uncomfortable for me. I mean, I've been in this place 55 years, the same bedroom. And, I treasure my privacy. And I don't know, in shelter, I don't think you have much privacy.
I know, Doug. And with all the attempts you've been making with HRA and other avenues, and I know there was some catastrophe type construction in the building that might have happened in the master bedroom.
Right.
Right.
Well, no, that's what caused. That's right. That's what the original cause of the problem was, because these workers came up here, the master bedroom, to fix a leak.
Yeah.
And when they fixed the leak, they messed up the whole of the bathroom, a bedroom rather. Not putting back the way things were. Things like that. There was plaster all over the place, and wallpaper, and the bedroom was unusable for. I paid rent here because I lived by myself 8 years. I paid rent for a 3-bedroom apartment, but really only 2 bedrooms you could say were usable. And
I saw the demolition, and I saw the damage that was done. It was it was pretty bad. So
yeah, well, they put a fancy new heating system in my bedroom.
Yeah.
Right around the time I retired, 2019, and when I came home the day they fixed it, I almost had a heart attack because the whole floor was full of soot and everything, and all this dust, and they didn't clean up anything. They just left.
When I was here, I have to say that I did notice I thought maybe some possibility of black mold, but I don't want to go there because my focus today with you is that I think it's just to see a New Yorker such as yourself and I hold you in such high regard and such high esteem. It's tough for me to see you go through a housing crisis such as this. So I want to bring light to it because I know that you are not the only one.
Right.
And
I know.
just feel like needs to be more programs out there. And I know I don't want to see you go through a tough time.
All right, thank you.
Yeah. So, is there anything else that you want to add? We're going to conclude our interview.
No, not at the moment. I mean, I went to another agency last week, Home Base, which helps you with this, but I was denied because of over income.
That is on
middle class, over income makes too much to get assistance from many places, but makes too little to live reasonably. And now they are being underfunded or whatever it is because the Adams administration is refusing to follow a court order which gives vouchers, which I'm not an expert. I don't know if I was eligible for this, to people in need of housing. And supposedly the legislation that he's refusing to enforce may increase the income limits. So I don't know how that would affect me, if any, and it may be months of court fight. It may be too late to help me now, unless this thing could be put off for a long time. I don't know. But it's just one thing I'm thinking about.
So maybe there's some systems that need to be looked at and reestablished, and I just think that we're going to appreciate every moment and live each day like it's our last here. And I just
and like I say, if you're looking out in the open market for an apartment with the rent I'll be paying here, I can't get nearly as nice of an apartment as I can now.
If
because
you could even get one at all.
Right,
really.
Because the rent stabilization, I've been here 55 years, so that's why I'm living rather cheaply according to the standards of Park Avenue, where I'm living. Park Avenue, you can't get Park Avenue.
And you're a New Yorker,
Right.
as you should be. You are a New Yorker. I mean, you tell me the stories of these people down the street that you see, Woody Allen and so on and so forth, all the stories that you share. I just hope that you have the opportunity to share them with more people, and maybe we can do some more videos. So thank you, Douglas Leeds, for your time today.
Thank you. You're welcome.
My name is Andrea Mackay. This is Douglas Leeds with a opportunity to discuss our situation, his situation on the housing on Park Avenue. And today's date is February 17th, 2024.
18th. I think 18th.
February 18th. You're right, of course, Douglas, because you're very good with the facts. All right, thank you and have a great day.
Thanks.